Every 90 seconds in America, an older adult finds themselves in the emergency room because of a fall. That's not just a number. It's someone's parent, someone's neighbor, someone who just wanted to make it from the couch to the kitchen safely. And when doctors investigate these falls, they often find something unexpected. It isn't always a serious illness or a sudden injury. Sometimes it starts with a simple cramp in the leg, a sudden, stabbing tightness that comes without warning, especially at night. A cramp that jolts you awake, or worse, strikes when you're standing, throwing off your balance and leaving you afraid to take the next step. What's most surprising is that many of these cramps aren't caused by aging itself. They're often linked to something that hides in plain sight. A quiet deficiency in two minerals that many people never even think about: magnesium and potassium. These aren't exotic supplements or miracle cures. They're essential nutrients that your muscles and nerves depend on every single day. According to data from the National Institutes of Health, a significant number of older adults in the U.S. do not meet the recommended daily intake for magnesium or potassium. Over time, this shortfall can affect the way muscles contract, relax, and respond, leading to discomfort, fatigue, and yes, even those night cramps that seem to come out of nowhere. I remember speaking with a woman in her 70s who told me she stopped attending church socials not because she didn't enjoy them, but because she was terrified her legs would cramp while waiting in line, forcing her to sit down or leave early. She thought it was just part of getting older. But what if I told you the answer was already in her kitchen, in the food she overlooked every day? So let me ask you, have you ever been woken up by a painful cramp in your calf? Or do your legs feel drained by the afternoon? If so, you're not alone, and you're not powerless. In today's video, we're going to explore 8 simple, everyday foods that are rich in magnesium and potassium, the very minerals that your muscles quietly cry out for. These foods aren't expensive, they aren't hard to find. In fact, you might already have some of them in your fridge or pantry right now. They're small, humble ingredients, but together, they may just be the key to restoring strength, balance, and restful sleep. Let's begin our journey with something so simple. Most people walk past it in the frozen food aisle without a second thought. Green peas. Yes, that small, round vegetable you probably had on your dinner plate as a child is more powerful than you think. Just half a cup of cooked peas delivers about 60 to 70 milligrams of magnesium and up to 500 milligrams of potassium. That's more potassium than half a banana, and a meaningful dose of magnesium, all in just a few bites. These two minerals work hand in hand to support your muscles. Magnesium helps your muscles relax after they contract. Potassium, on the other hand, keeps the electrical signals in your body steady, helping muscles fire at the right moment, and preventing those sudden, painful cramps. The National Institutes of Health points out that nearly half of older adults in the United States fall short on their daily magnesium needs. This silent deficiency often goes unnoticed, until one day the body begins to send warning signs: a twitch here, a cramp there, or legs that feel heavy even after a full night's rest. I think of George, a patient I met a few years ago. He was 69, and he told me how growing up, he'd eat peas right out of his family's backyard garden. But over time, life got busy. He stopped cooking at home, started picking up fast food and frozen dinners, and peas were replaced by French fries. When I met him, George was experiencing painful spasms in his calves almost every evening. No medications were helping. But when we simply asked him to bring back peas and other magnesium-rich vegetables into his meals, the change was noticeable. Within just a few weeks, he said he could finally sit through his grandson's entire baseball game without being distracted by that gnawing pain in his legs. Now, you don't have to start a backyard garden to enjoy the benefits of peas. Just keeping a bag of frozen peas on hand is enough. Heat them as a simple side dish. Toss them into a warm soup, or mix them into your salad for some added crunch and color. The secret isn't in fancy recipes, it's in consistency. A few servings each week can help your muscles feel steadier, calmer, and more energized throughout the day. Now, while peas bring comfort in a bowl, let's move to something that delivers quiet strength in a crunch. Almonds. This small, humble nut hides a powerful secret. Just 1 ounce, about a small handful, contains 70 to 80 milligrams of magnesium and between 200 to 300 milligrams of potassium. That's a double boost for your muscles and your nerves. Think of magnesium in almonds as your body's natural muscle relaxer. It calms down overactive nerves and gently lets your muscles release after every contraction. Potassium, meanwhile, ensures that the communication between your nerves and muscles remains smooth, reducing the chance of misfiring, the kind that feels like a Charlie horse in the middle of the night. A long-term study from the Harvard School of Public Health found that adults who include nuts like almonds in their diet at least 4 times a week had better muscle function and a significantly lower risk of cramping. And these benefits aren't just for athletes or health fanatics. They matter deeply for those of us who want to move freely, walk confidently, and rest peacefully at night. Maria, a 72-year-old woman I worked with, came to me with a rather embarrassing problem. She kept dropping things in the kitchen. Her hands would suddenly stiffen, and at night, her calves would lock up so tightly she'd have to walk around the room just to ease the pain. She feared it was something serious. But when we sat down and reviewed her daily meals, something became clear. Her diet lacked foods that provided magnesium. She admitted she had a sweet tooth, often reaching for cookies or pastries in the afternoon. We made one small change: swapped the cookies for a small handful of almonds. Just that. And within a few weeks, Maria returned with brighter eyes and a steady voice. The spasms had reduced, her grip strength improved, and she smiled as she told me, "Doctor, I never thought something so small could make such a big difference." If you'd like to try it yourself, it doesn't take much. Keep a jar of almonds on your kitchen counter or in your car. Grab a handful when you feel like snacking. Sprinkle them over your oatmeal, stir them into your yogurt, or pack them in your lunchbox. The beauty of almonds is that they're easy to carry and easy to love. And for your muscles, a small handful a few times a week might be the gentle support you've been missing. While almonds offer strength in a crunch, our next food delivers power in every slice. Bread. Yes, simple, everyday bread, the kind found on nearly every American table, holds more influence over your muscles than you might expect. But here's the key: not all bread is created equal. 2 slices of whole wheat bread provide about 40 to 60 milligrams of magnesium and around 100 to 200 milligrams of potassium. These numbers may seem modest compared to other foods, but what makes whole wheat bread so impactful is how often it's eaten. When something becomes a daily habit, even small contributions start to add up in big ways. Magnesium in whole grains supports energy production within every cell, helping muscles stay fueled and flexible. Potassium ensures that energy flows into your muscle fibers at the exact moment they need to move, lift, or stabilize. Without that steady supply, muscles can fatigue quickly, become stiff, or misfire, all of which increase the risk of cramps or even falls. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults who regularly consumed whole grains, including whole wheat bread, experienced better muscle coordination and fewer complaints of leg fatigue compared to those who mostly ate refined, white flour products. I once met Robert, a 75-year-old retiree who proudly told me he never missed a meal that didn't include bread. Breakfast, toast, lunch, sandwich, dinner, a slice with soup. But the bread he loved was the soft, fluffy white kind, stripped of most nutrients during processing. He came to me complaining that his legs felt heavy and tired halfway through his daily walk. Sometimes his calves would cramp after just a few blocks. We made one small adjustment. Switched to 100% whole wheat bread. Not wheat bread, which can still be mostly refined flour, but true whole wheat. Within just 2 months, Robert returned with a lighter step. He said the cramps had nearly disappeared, and his legs no longer felt like sandbags holding him down. If bread is already a part of your life, you don't need to give it up. Just choose a version that works for your muscles, not against them. Look for labels that say 100% whole wheat or whole grain as the first ingredient. Enjoy it toasted with peanut butter in the morning, layered in a sandwich at lunch, or paired with a warm bowl of soup at dinner. With each slice, you're not just feeding your appetite, you're supporting your strength from the ground up. Now, let's move from something soft to something buttery, earthy, and quietly powerful: pecans. These often overlooked tree nuts, associated with southern pies and holiday treats, carry a surprising strength when it comes to muscle health. Just 1 ounce, or about 20 pecan halves, offers around 34 milligrams of magnesium and more than 100 milligrams of potassium. While those numbers might be slightly lower than almonds, pecans come with a unique gift: healthy fats that nourish your nerves, not just your muscles. Why does that matter? Because cramps aren't always a pure muscle issue. In many cases, they begin with the nervous system, the wiring that tells muscles when to contract and when to release. Magnesium in pecans acts like a calming brake, slowing down overstimulated nerve signals. Potassium keeps the rhythm steady, so muscle fibers don't fire out of sync. Together, they help reduce not just the frequency of cramps, but the sudden jolts and spasms that can disrupt your day or your sleep. In fact, research published by the Journal of the American Heart Association found that diets rich in tree nuts like pecans improved neuromuscular coordination in older adults. That means better balance, fewer spasms, and even reduced fall risk over time. The study didn't focus on expensive supplements or fancy health products, just simple, consistent intake of nuts that have been part of traditional diets for generations. If pecans are already in your kitchen, try this. Skip the sugary pies and candied toppings. Instead, enjoy a small handful of raw or lightly roasted pecans as an afternoon snack. Add them to a side of steamed green beans for a satisfying crunch. Sprinkle a few over your oatmeal in the morning, or blend them into a smoothie for a creamy texture. You don't need a large amount. A few servings each week are enough to quietly support your neuromuscular system and give your muscles and your nerves the tools they need to work in harmony. Sometimes, strength doesn't come from lifting more or walking farther. It comes from listening to your body and giving it the fuel it's quietly asking for: one slice, one handful, one choice at a time. As we continue exploring foods that strengthen muscles and reduce cramps, let's turn to a leafy green that's been quietly supporting American families for generations: collard greens. Especially beloved in the southern kitchen, collards may not be as trendy as kale or spinach, but their nutritional strength speaks for itself. Just 1 cup of cooked collard greens provides about 40 milligrams of magnesium and over 200 milligrams of potassium, a combination that makes this humble vegetable a quiet powerhouse for older muscles. Magnesium helps muscle fibers let go after they contract, preventing that tight, locked-up sensation that so often strikes in the middle of the night. Potassium ensures that nerve signals reach the muscles in a smooth, steady rhythm, helping to prevent those misfires that lead to spasms and cramps. But collards don't stop there. They also offer calcium and vitamin K, nutrients essential for bone health, and that's a benefit often overlooked, because strong muscles and strong bones work together. When both are supported, your body is better prepared to stand, move, and recover safely. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that adults who regularly consumed dark, leafy greens like collards experienced significantly fewer nighttime leg cramps compared to those who didn't. That's not surprising, given the mineral content these greens deliver. And for those who've dealt with the frustration of waking up with a seizing calf or trembling thigh, a simple change on the dinner plate might be the first step toward relief. You don't need to prepare collards the traditional southern way with heavy seasoning or hours of simmering unless, of course, that's how you love them. For a lighter approach, Try steaming them until tender, then adding a squeeze of lemon for brightness. You can chop them into stews or soups, or even sauté them lightly with olive oil and garlic. Pairing collards with beans or lean proteins like chicken or fish makes a well-rounded meal that supports both your muscles and your bones. And remember, it's not about eating a mountain of greens in one sitting. It's about adding them in regularly. A few servings each week can make a noticeable difference over time. Now, from hearty greens to something light, sweet, and unexpectedly powerful honeydew melon. On a hot summer day, few things feel as refreshing as a slice of chilled melon. But what many people don't realize is that beyond its sweetness, honeydew hides a powerful mineral profile that's particularly beneficial for older adults. Just 1 cup of diced honeydew offers approximately 18 milligrams of magnesium and nearly 400 milligrams of potassium, nearly as much potassium as a medium banana, but with far more water content. Why is that water so important? Because dehydration is one of the most overlooked causes of muscle cramps, especially in seniors. As we age, our sense of thirst often decreases, and the body loses fluid more quickly, especially during warm weather or after even light activity. When fluid levels drop, so does the balance of electrolytes like potassium and magnesium, increasing the risk of cramps, spasms, and fatigue. The National Institutes of Health confirms that older adults who maintain steady potassium intake, particularly from hydrating sources like fruits, are less likely to suffer from severe cramps, especially during hot months. Honeydew is over 90% water. That means eating it doesn't just satisfy your sweet tooth, it also gently rehydrates your body and helps restore the electrolyte balance your muscles depend on. Imagine replacing a sugary soda with a bowl of melon cubes. You're cutting the added sugar, increasing hydration, and feeding your body exactly what it needs to recover and relax. I often recommend keeping honeydew ready to eat in the fridge. Cut it into cubes and store them in a glass container, so it's the first thing you see when you open the door. Add it to a fruit salad, blend it into a smoothie, or enjoy a slice after a walk to cool down. It's a snack that feels like a treat but works like a quiet medicine. Small choices, like switching to water-rich fruits, don't just support muscle health. They also improve energy, support digestion, and give you a moment of refreshment that's both physical and emotional. And when your muscles feel hydrated and supported, your steps feel lighter, your rest feels deeper, and your days become easier to enjoy. Now let's talk about a fruit that brings more than just sweetness to your plate. Peaches. For many people, a ripe peach is a taste of summer, soft, juicy, and comforting. But beyond the flavor, peaches quietly support your muscles and nerves. A medium-sized peach contains around 14 milligrams of magnesium and nearly 300 milligrams of potassium. That's about as much potassium as you'd find in a small sports drink, but without any added sugar or artificial ingredients. Potassium plays a key role in keeping your muscles steady and your nerves communicating smoothly. Magnesium helps prevent the tight, locked-up feeling that leads to painful cramps. According to the USDA, older adults who include fruit in their diets regularly tend to experience fewer issues with muscle weakness and fatigue. Peaches, with their water content, fiber, and nutrients, are an excellent choice, especially in the warmer months when hydration also matters. I once met Mrs. Carter, a 73-year-old retired teacher, who told me she had stopped tending her beloved garden. It wasn't because she lost interest, it was because every time she bent down, her legs felt shaky, and her calves would tighten painfully. She thought she was simply losing strength with age. But when we reviewed her meals, it became clear that she wasn't getting enough potassium. We encouraged her to add 1 peach to her afternoon routine, replacing cookies or packaged snacks. Within just a few weeks, she said she could return to her flower beds without fear. Her legs felt stronger, and her energy was steadier. For her, it wasn't just about the fruit, it was about getting back a part of her life. Peaches are easy to enjoy. Eat them fresh, Slice them into yogurt or cereal, blend them into a smoothie, or grill them lightly for a caramelized twist. It doesn't take much. Just one a day during peach season can offer your muscles the quiet support they need. And now we come to our final food, one that's often found in refrigerators but not always appreciated for its deeper benefits: yogurt. While many people know yogurt for its probiotics, it also delivers an impressive blend of minerals that support muscle function and recovery. 1 cup of plain yogurt provides roughly 30 milligrams of magnesium and up to 370 milligrams of potassium. That's alongside calcium and protein, which also help maintain muscle and bone strength as we age. Magnesium in yogurt works like a gentle relaxant, calming muscle tension that may build up throughout the day. Potassium keeps the electrical activity in your muscles balanced, helping prevent the sudden spasms or cramps that can wake you in the night. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition showed that older adults who consumed dairy products regularly experienced fewer muscle cramps and better nighttime recovery. These weren't extreme diet changes, just steady, simple habits. I remember Mr. Lewis, a 76-year-old widower, who came to me after weeks of poor sleep. His problem? His legs would spasm at night, sometimes waking him more than once. He often skipped dinner or had only toast and tea, not enough to support his muscles. We made one gentle change: add a serving of plain yogurt with fruit in the evening. After 1 month, he told me he was sleeping more soundly and waking up with less stiffness in his legs. It wasn't magic, it was nourishment. If you're lactose intolerant, don't worry. Many plant-based or lactose-free yogurts now come fortified with magnesium and potassium, so you can still get the benefits without discomfort. Look for unsweetened varieties to avoid added sugar, and consider pairing yogurt with berries or a few chopped nuts for a well-rounded snack. So now, let's take a moment to reflect. We've covered 8 simple foods: green peas, almonds, whole wheat bread, pecans, collard greens, honeydew melon, peaches, and yogurt. Each one offers a natural way to support your muscles, your nerves, and your sense of balance, and none of them require complicated recipes or expensive supplements. According to the National Institutes of Health, many older adults in America don't get enough magnesium or potassium. But the good news is, small daily choices like eating a peach or a slice of whole wheat bread can quietly restore what your body needs to move confidently and sleep peacefully. If you've ever struggled with leg cramps, heavy legs, or restless nights, know this: you are not alone and you are not powerless. Strength doesn't always come from lifting weights or taking pills. Sometimes it comes from a peach, a spoonful of yogurt, a decision to care for yourself gently and consistently. If this message resonates with you, we'd love to hear your story. Type 1 in the comments if you've tried any of these foods, or 0 if you're just getting started. And don't forget to subscribe to Healthy Aging Journey, where we share simple, science-backed tips to help you stay strong, steady, and well, one meal at a time.